Churchill Downs today is a horse player's paradise.
The distance, the trip, who's going to be where.
This is anybody's horse race.
A lot of money up for grabs.
I think Churchill Downs has the best racing going in America right now.
Here's the wire, line of duty.
And the man to my left has now picked 9 of the last 10 winners.
Maybe I should just sit back and let Scott do everything, man. He's on fire.
From a horse player's perspective, this is what it's all about. The distance, the trip, who's going to be where? Time for Churchill Downs today, presented by TwinSpires.com. Fast lane track, no turf course in November. Welcome grass back in the spring. Sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-40s, slowly rising. We're hoping to get over 50 degrees today. The winds are calm. That's helpful. We've got 10 races on our Thursday agenda, so let's take a look at the headlines, why don't we? Mitchell Murrow scoring a Wednesday hat trick. 2 of those wins for his main man, Chris Hartman. Today's Derby City 6 jackpot carryover, $49,747. Race number 5 is where it begins. Cowan eyes consecutive victories in today's 5th race featured sprint. And the Breeders' Cup, in case you haven't heard, that's coming up. Tomorrow is Future Stars Friday, offering points on the road to the Kentucky Oaks and the Derby and the Juvenile Fillies and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Joe Christopher, Scott Shapiro, invigorating weather here in Louisville. Temperatures in the mid-40s. It's crisp, but the sun is shining. The track is fast. We've got 10 live races for your wagering pleasure and a Derby City 6 carryover pool, Scott, just shy of $50,000, not to mention the Breeders' Cup on the horizon.
Yeah, that Derby City 6 building quickly here. Breeders' Cup momentum building quickly as well. I did have to get some ice off my car this morning.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't that exciting. I guess that's
I have a
part of
defrost button for that.
Yeah, I wasn't very patient for the defrost button. needed to catch up to you here at the track. But, yeah, nice day out here. The sun's out. Should be a fun one. 10 races on tap. Big weekend ahead.
Mitchell Murrow riding triple. Mentioned 2 of those wins for Chris Hartman. A victory for Keith DeSormo, Santa Cruiser. The ones for Hartman, Irish Hokey, and Blake B. And riding in good form, especially when he rides for Chris Hartman, one of our favorite Gold Room regulars.
Yeah, it was always a good time when Chris wins a couple races in the Gold Room. $3.14 return on investment in last 262 starts when Chris Hartman and Mitch Murrow hook up. That was before yesterday. 24% clip. They just keep winning races in bunches here.
Tyler Gaffalione had a riding double yesterday. He left midway through the card. Last few mounts he gave up. Apparently he had a cracked tooth or something, uncomfortable. Obviously Tyler not only back in the saddle today, but preparing for his mounts in the Breeders' Cup coming up on Friday and Saturday. And Churchill Downs is the place to be to watch the Breeders' Cup. Live racing action, Breeders' Cup races as well. For all the particulars, let's send it down to the 3rd member of our team, James Scully, James Scully, down in the paddock. James, great to have you with us today.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to be back, Joe. Great to be working with you and Scott. And, yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day out here for some horse racing. The excitement is building, though, for Friday and Saturday. Like you said, 14 Breeders' Cup races. And Churchill Downs is going to have a later post on both days. Our first race is 2 p.m. on Friday. Our first race is 1:45 on Saturday. So we are going to be showing on the big board all the Breeders' Cup races. You know, if you want to come out, wager, watch, have a good time, Churchill Downs, the place to be. Come out here and check it out this weekend. 15,000 square foot big board and racing Friday and Saturday at Churchill.
All right, thanks, James. And we're going to be running our races in between the Breeders' Cup races. The action is going to be fast and furious, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of money fired through the betting windows here live at Churchill Downs and on TwinSpires as well.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. The local races, the World Championships, bang, bang. We'll do some previews and reviews in between, hopefully help people make some money tomorrow. Should be an absolutely wonderful time, both Friday and, of course, on Saturday, Breeders' Cup's biggest day.
Lots of our riders and trainers will be participating. We'll talk more about that as we get more into the Breeders' Cup races, both today and, of course, Friday and Saturday. as well. Let's jump into the card, though, Scott. Again, 10 races on our agenda. Derby City 6 race 5 of 10. The carryover just shy of $50,000 for that. Pick 5 wagering available here in the opener, first of 10, fast track. $15,000 maiden claimers traveling the 1-turn mile. They are 3 and older. And you landed on the number 5. And fairly defined opinion from you on this one. We like to give the little slashes to separate our strength of opinion on the website where you can find our selections daily. Haney boys for Tom Vanberg off the layoff here.
Yeah, freshened up off the layoff. Hasn't raced here under the TwinSpires yet, but Tom, 18% first off the claim. Doesn't claim a lot of horses, but he does run a lot at Churchill Downs. His last 149 starts here at $2.34 ROI. If you're not familiar with how that works, if you back Tom's horses blindly with a $2 wager, you're making money. That's a good thing. He legs up Corey Lannery here, and I think on the stretch out, Haney boys should be able to make the lead. Doesn't probably need the lead, but I think it'd be to his advantage to get the lead. Stretching out to the 1-turn mile here. Not the strongest group, a number of horses that have taken double digits or longer to break their maiden. This one also 0 for 10, but doing something different for a new barn. I think he's got a big shot.
Rafael Bejarano is going to be riding California Angel in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf on Friday, and he rides Hex in the opener today. Michael Thompson, the trainer, and speaking of a race not being very strong even for the level, this one's 0 for 17 with just 2/3 on the resume, yet it's 3-1 and Mike Battaglia's morning line. And I think that third that he ran last time, one of the better races of his career. B-Maker, the horse that won that race, was fairly impressive in doing so. Road Bible, who ran second, ran off the screen in his next start, albeit against a soft group. But what I like about Hex, Scott, he was hung out to dry every step of the way. He had a 4-wide trip, was 4 wide on the turn, and still sustained that bid to the wire to finish third at Churchill that particular day. I think the 1-turn mile should be within his scope, and today he gets to draw the rail. So major advantage potentially with the trip versus the wide go last time.
Yeah, B-Maker and Road Bible both were pricey purchases that dropped in for 10 in that
Romans
race.
was the B-Maker horse.
Right. Both pricey purchases. Raced against the flow. If he hasn't had 17 tries with just 2/3, I could definitely see the angles. Just tough for me to think he's going to pass the entire field, but you make good point.
Yeah, good point. The racetrack did slightly favor speed that day, and that was a very moderate pace for the distance, 46-2. Going 7 panels. Race 2, start of a pick 4, 3 pick 4 opportunities on the Thursday program. Didn't see a lot of speed in this nominators at 2 for 10, Scott, 6 furlongs the distance. I looked at this race way too long, and if you would have told me that I was going to pick Mahomes' money, I probably would have told you were nuts, but the way this race shakes out from a pace perspective, he might be loose and lonely on the lead.
He could be, and with the blinkers coming off, that sometimes is a very positive angle, a horse that makes a lone lead with the shades coming off. I've just seen too much of Mahomes' money and been disappointed by him. I think my wallet is a little lighter because of him as well. Maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but he should be loose and certainly in a favorable spot here. I landed on number 7, Excursion, the 2-1 morning line favorite. Last time out, that October 14th track at Keeneland, not sure what you had in your notes. I had it as an inside favoring racetrack. Sir Ace a lot, the 6, the 5-2 second choice, kind of rode the rail from the back
main
throughout.
Track, rail day, all day.
Yeah, and Excursion was outside off the rail. So I gave Excursion a bump over Sir Ace a lot, who nosed him basically at the wire, but I thought Excursion tried to win the race. I think he should sit a pretty favorable stalking voyage here. You mentioned the lack of speed. Probably will have him up closer than that day when Freudian Fate and All the Diamonds were both prominently placed and ran 1-2 to the wire. So chalky for me. Excursion, not an exciting pick, but I think he probably breaks through for the second win.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I mean, Sir Ace-a-Lot was under a ride the entire way on that October 14th start of his. He did get up for third that particular afternoon. That was a weak race. This isn't a very strong race either. And Mahomes' money sliding down the class ladder, claim for 30, 50, 30, 20, 10 here today. Blinkers went on last time. That didn't help. The race before was on the turf at Kentucky Downs. Not going to hold that against him. I'm hoping he runs back to those races at Ellis Park where he finished third in consecutive starts behind much better competition than this. Mahomes' money. Mahomes got his money. I'm hoping to get a little of mine back.
This one has run more like Patrick Mahomes this year than in his previous seasons.
Would have to agree with that. Although, still wouldn't mind having him on the Bears.
Of course. Star.
when comparing to other options. All right, race number 3, beaten $10,000 claimers, 3 and older, non-winners of 3, or 3-year-olds, 6 furlongs the distance here. And Scott, you've got the 3 on top. That is Ice Cap. I've got picked second, 8-1. And if this horse brings his A game for Matt Kortenbrock, I think he's as good as anybody in the field.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think there could be a potentially contentious, I don't know how hot the pace will be, but at this level, if it's contentious up front, it doesn't always matter how hot it is. I think Shipping Port, I think Pretty Boy Elma, Long Shot, Free Running, and even Smart Time, who is my favorite against, adds blinkers, all could be involved early. I expect Convection and Ice Cap to sit in that second tier. Ice Cap, the better price of the 2 by far, and maybe needed the last race off a significant layoff, broke from the rail at Belterra. It wasn't a real bad field there. I know when you're looking at horses coming in from Belterra to Churchill Downs, it's kind of, a natural thought to maybe think they're moving up in class, and oftentimes they are, but good, clean fun. The winners hit the board in 4 straight, running high 70s and an 80 Brisnet speed rating in the process. The runner-up in there also has been a very consistent horse, hitting the board in 5 starts in a row. So I think Ice Cap has faced equal competition and should get a good trip at a good price.
Yeah, I've got that one picked second. I do have Shipping Port on top. Second best 2-back sprinting on the turf at Indiana Grand. Just seems to be what he is, and today it might be good enough. He was 4th last out against beaten 20 claimers, now drops in for 10. For Dennis Roberson, who does a better job than his record this year would indicate. This one got a pressing trip behind the 4-5 favorite Somme Sound. And Scott, Somme Sound was so much the best, won by more than 7. Shipping Port got a little bit discouraged chasing him. Probably was second best that day, but a couple of horses passed him late when he got tired. Draws the rail. We'll see if Jesus Castagnon puts him on the lead or if he could sit a pocket trip. Either way, I think he fits this spot extremely well.
Dennis, who we see in the Gold Room regularly and easy to guy to root for. My one question about this horse is, can he bring his game to Churchill that he runs at, that he has elsewhere? 0 for 3 has never hit the board here in Louisville.
Speed figure wise, though,
definitely fits.
Definitely fits, even those races at Churchill Downs. And Smart Time, even though I've got him picked 4th in here, he's not my favorite against. There is a favorite today that I like less than I like him.
And
we'll have to
why
wait.
He's not your favorite against?
Stay tuned. That's called a
tease.
teaser.
Yeah, tease.
Stay tuned for the starting gate coming up a little bit later. Race 4, I see a contested pace potentially in this one. Scott picked for wagering in this 6 furlong maiden $50,000 claimer for 2-year-olds. You landed on the 7 on top. You're looking for Excite Men.
I sure am. I agree, Joe. This could be a very contentious early pace for this 6 furlong dash for 2-year-olds. A lot of horses that like to be prominent, a lot of them drawn towards the inside. You mentioned Chris Hartman and Mitchell Murrow in the beginning. I'm tired of getting beat by these guys. I want to cheer along with the Gold Room, not against. And, I thought it was a wide open race. I thought a first-time starter could fit well in here. Chris, not necessarily known for having his, runners cranked or having great 2-year-olds, but pretty good success with maiden claiming first-time starters. $2.19 ROI, 12% last 26 starts. And we already talked about how good Mitchell Murrow and Chris Hartman have been together. One other stat, though, Chris Hartman, his last 613 starts at Churchill Downs, $2.04 ROI. That's a pretty good history.
Yeah, I'm with you with the cheering in the Gold Room angle potential.
Blake Bead yesterday.
When Blake beat me out of a big pick 3 ticket, everybody else is cheering in the back row, and I'm just like, man. But it happens.
Yeah.
And, this one's going to be a price, and I counted the letters, counted the characters, 18 in this name. T would have been the 19th character. I'm guessing just kind of got cut off at the end there.
Yeah, maybe it's Excite Men, not Mint.
It could be. Very well be. I'm guessing the T got cut off. That's just my guess. Pick 4 wagering available here. You've got a long shot. I've got the 5 on top. Just logical. Rudy Basset, powerful ownership group. This horse coming in from California where the horse did run second on debut, then was an even 5th last time. Didn't get out of the gate in the most recent start. Had a little bit of traffic trouble. This is a big drop in class. Rudy Brisset, look at his numbers. Maiden special weight to maiden claiming. Chris Landeros, look at his numbers with Chris Landeros.
Yeah, they're very strong.
They're monstrous. So all things considered, the ownership group, I know they paid $330 for this one, but they're putting the horse where he belongs, obviously. Not the strongest race for the level. I just think he has the most finishing punch in the stretch, Marco Polo.
Well, clearly it hasn't worked out as planned originally, and the fact that this was a Bob Baffert runner.
Most of them don't work out.
This is true, but a lot of the Bob Baffert runners in California work out. And this one in a 6-horse field at Los Alamitos for Bob Baffert was over 5-1. That, to me, shows that they knew that this wasn't much of a runner.
Look at who this horse is running against today.
Yeah. No. The winner of the last race, winning map, was a 2-5 Bob Baffert runner that ran a 95 Brisnet speed rating. So certainly could be the one to take advantage of the contentious early pace. A hard horse to eliminate outright, but going to be a little too short for me to pick on top.
Yeah, it's going to be short, no doubt. Maybe Letty will take some action. Maybe we'll get 8-5 on Marco Polo. That would be my floor probably for that horse, I would say. Moving on to the 5th, we'll talk about the Derby City 6 with one James Scully in just a moment, or two, maybe three. But first, optional claiming two other than $100,000 if they're in for the price tag. 6 furlongs is the distance here. Steve Asmussen, it's well documented, the slump along with Ricardo Santana Jr. Do you know what the longest slump was for Tony Gwynn as far as going over in his career? Because even the best, even the Hall of Famers, are going to have slumps. No matter what the sport is, horse racing.
40?
19.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a surprise.
I thought it was more. Yeah. There was like a big article that's like Tony Gwynn's over his last 19. Like they were writing stories about it.
He didn't even need to hit line drives, which he did most of the time to get hits, because he would just place the ball like it was softball.
July of 1998 was that.
Hey, rest in peace. One of the best hitters I ever watched.
For Tony Gwynn. Yeah, I wish we had more baseball players like him in 2021. But let's talk about this race, Scott. The 4 is your top selection here. This is a Shadow Matter. 4th last out, got hung out to dry at Keeneland, was wide every step of the way against a pretty decent field.
Yeah, it was a better effort than the Harrods Creek, which was not an effort that looked like this horse, who had 4 good efforts to start his career. Did get out of the gate slow in that race. Bounced back a little bit, was washed out, as the Brisnet PPs tell you, was washed out in that race. So maybe coming around, he has the look of a horse that's cycling back to his best effort, which is often the case. 3rd start of the form cycle, and did put forth his career best effort here on May 21st. I watched our colleague Ed DeRosa at 11-1 root this one in as his top selection outside. So I remember it vividly as he knocked me out of the horizontal wagers. So I think Shadow Matter should get a pretty good trip in here. Tyler Gaffalione aboard, like I said, hoping this one gets back to that race in late May.
I don't normally pick horses like this, but I did take a Flamingo Hawk on top, a former $16,000 maiden claimer who's really legitimized himself at Gulfstream recently. The horse he lost to last time finished second best behind Papatu. That horse was 3rd in the Fountain of Youth earlier this year, so keeping decent enough company. And Scott, this is one of those selections where I'm picking against the rest of the horses more so than I'm picking this horse, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this horse on paper obviously fits if he can bring his game from Florida. He just has he has to be asked a half mile or further from the finish and just grinds along. I just feel like that kind of style tends to run better at Gulfstream than it does here at Churchill.
Right, we'll see, because a lot of times you have to run that way at Gulfstream too. So how will he acclimate to this quicker, faster, different kind of surface remains to be seen. But again, not a selection that I'm overly confident in, but we are employed to make picks every race.
That we are, my friend.
That we are. All right, employed to make a Derby City 6 ticket is James Scully. He's down in the paddock, and before he does that, he's going to tell us what happened yesterday and about that big carryover pool. James?
Yes, after a full carry on Sunday's opening card, we had multiple winning tickets yesterday in the Derby City 6 jackpot. Each 20-cent winning ticket got $5,254 back. We talk about it all the time. This usually pays really well if you can hit it. And that means we will have a carryover today of nearly $50,000, $49,747 to be exact. Yesterday's results, the first 3 winners, all very gettable, either favorites or second choices. Blake B, I thought you could use him if you were trying to beat the favorite. It was really just the last 2 legs, Razor Glass at 9-1 and Zanesville at 7-1. Perhaps needed a little bit of coverage but you could put together a ticket for 20-cent denominations, very affordable, and walked away with $5,255 yesterday. The Derby City 6 jackpot, 20-cent wager, 15% takeout, and we pay back 90% payout to the all winning tickets. Like I said, a carryover today of nearly $50,000 and gets underway in race number 5. Let's take a look at my ticket. I wound up playing a $36 ticket today. Like Joe, I'm 3 deep in the first race. Number 2, Flamingo Hawk's my pick. In the second race, leg 2, which is race 6, my best bet of the day is Jimmy Dan, number 8. I'm singling Shotgun Hottie. I'm 2 deep in the 8th race with the favorite Palm Cottage, and then I'm 2 deep in the 4th leg with Bow Bow Girl. Then I got 3 in the 5th leg, and I'm 5 deep to conclude it. I thought the finale was the most wide open race on the card. A $36 ticket. Let's take a look at what Scott has.
Thanks, James. Yeah, I'm going to go half of your ticket with an $18 ticket. I think it could be a relatively formful card today. The race 5, don't have a strong opinion. We just talked about that. Do like Shadow Matter a little bit in there, but went 3 deep. Race 6, I did leave off my pick 4 second in there. I am looking to beat the favorites because I am singling 2 along the way, hoping to catch a price in there. Going to use the favorite Shotgun Hottie and another one, Zumra Bayou in the 7th. Singling Bow Bow Girl, my best bet of the day, and Palm Cottage, who I think is the likeliest winner on the card. And then spreading like James does in race 10. Hope to get there, have some decent prices to close things out. $18 in total, Joe.
Derby City 6 carryover pool just shy of $50,000, a 2-day carryover. We had no perfect tickets on Sunday. It was a full carryover. We had multiple winning tickets yesterday, so therefore 10% carried over, $49,747. Pick 5 in race number 6, Scott. This is a 1.25 mile maiden special weight event. And in this particular race, we're going to have a horse that's a pretty defined favorite, I do believe, in the 7. That is Constitutional Law. You landed on the 2. That is Cool Runnings for Keith DeSormo. You mentioned yesterday you felt that barn was starting to warm up a little bit. Probably has something to do with the selection. Yeah,
it's been a slow 2021. Keith DeSormo, a guy had a lot of success wagering on him and his brother out in Southern California a number of years ago. And he's had a slow year. He is beginning to heat up in Kentucky a bit. He won his last 2 starts at Keeneland, Joe, and then one with Santa Cruz, her first time gelding off the bench last time out. Mitchell Merle's other win other than the 2 for Chris Hartman. And when he legs up James Graham, Keith DeSormo, they hit it a solid 19% clip, but a $4.48 ROI over their last 124 starts. So pretty solid there. I think there's a relative lack of speed in this 1.25 mile event. Obviously going too fast in this race will probably not be a good idea, but hopefully James Graham is aggressive. This horse hasn't raced over the dirt since February of 2020, but those 2 dirt efforts were solid, including a November effort in 2019. I know it was a long time ago, but it did result in a career best 80 Brisnet speed rating.
Some of the horses that look like they can be, contenders in this race look like they're all turf. Warbird is one of those. I know James Scully likes Jimmy Dan a little bit. These horses need to prove they can run on the dirt. I went with Constitutional Law, not loving the fact that I landed on this horse because the horse is 9 to 5 in the morning line, but certainly has the pedigree to go longer. Second race back off of a long layoff. Should be tighter for this one. This isn't the strongest race for the level, and you mentioned the lack of early speed in here, Scott. He might be able to go 50 seconds to the opening half going 1.25 miles. He might be able to seal the deal when a bunch of turf horses that don't like dirt are kind of spinning their wheels.
Yeah, it just hasn't really worked out for this full to Constitution. They debuted him in October of his 2-year-old campaign, which is obviously somewhat of the plan. Didn't take any money for Todd Pletcher at Belmont, going off nearly 8-1, kind of showing me either they thought he needed the race or they thought he was slow. I'm going to lean towards the latter. Yeah.
This is a race full of slow horses that are hoping to get 1.25 miles.
Correct. But the last race was not very I think he's going to get bet. Yeah, he's going to get bet a lot off of it. You look at the reason I'm against this horse on top is because you look at the PPs and you see, there's a lot of horses that look like they can't win this race. This horse only has 2 starts, 2/3, has shown some speed. I think he's going to be even money, and I just don't see it.
Right, completely understand that take for sure. Race 7. Pick 4 wagering, maiden special weight. This is one of those auction races for horses that sold or RNA'd for $45,000 or less at their most recent sale. 6 furlongs a distance, and Scott, you landed on the 2. You're chalking out this time for once. Shotgun Hottie, 6 to 5, just missed on debut.
Yeah, exits a strong restricted maiden special weight race, the same that this is one of the races that for horses that have sold for $45,000 or RNA'd at their most recent auction. And this horse comes out of a live version of that, one of those races. We've seen some not so great versions or renditions of these, but Feeling Happy came back, ran a distant second in a first level allowance event to Penny Saver, who we'll likely see in the Goldenrod, was very impressive that day. And the third place finisher in Poljan came back to win on, I think it was the opener of the Stars of Tomorrow card. This horse got bet heavily on debut, going off at 2-1. Now, Tom Amoss, been cold here in Kentucky of late, but I assume he's going to start to heat up. Kind of trainer that doesn't stay cold for too long when he does stay cold. I think Shotgun Hottie is going to be very tough to beat.
Bentley Combs almost came through for me in a big way yesterday with Botswana, and just, pure, to provide the proper information. We make these picks 2 days in advance, so Botswana's near win at almost 20-1 had nothing to do with me selecting this 20-1 shot. Start table, first-time starter by Overanalyze. I don't see, do you have the auction price, $45,000?
$45,000 at the OBS
OBS
Summer 2021 sale.
So barely eligible under
Right.
these conditions, and I love the workout pattern. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 3 consecutive 5 furlong drills. Just looks like Bentley was waiting to unveil this horse in this race at Churchill Downs for this post. Gets a very underrated rider here in Francisco Arrieta, has sprint influences in the pedigree, and I'm getting 20-1 in the morning line, man. I mean, I know the Tom Amoss horse is by far the one to beat on paper, but I'm willing to take a shot, particularly at those odds. I'd be willing to take 10-1 on this horse.
Well spotted, and probably will get, if live,
Exactly.
will probably take
Right.
a little more money.
Although Botswana didn't take any money.
Yeah, a little bit different with a firster.
Different, completely different.
But this dam has been pretty productive, too. So I think it's well spotted. You mentioned the $45,000 sales price, just getting this one in. I like the creativity.
Race 3, non-2 for 30, one-turn mile as we tap on the gas pedal just a little bit here, Scott. The 6 is Bobo Girl. She just seems to have found her friends in this race today.
Yeah, she comes out of an October 17th race at Keeneland, which was her first start off of the form cycle. The speed was good that day. The inside was good that day. Super Quick was good that day, 7-5, wire-to-wire winner. Super Quick would be, what, 2-5 in here?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So racing against the flow now should get a favorable setup. I think there's plenty of speed signed on in here. It looks like it's time for Bobo Girl to get her first win here in Louisville.
Scott's tip of the cap in the track program here at Churchill Downs, Bobo Girl. I landed on her as well for all the same reasons, and she lost position into the first term, compromising her chances in that Keeneland short-stretched mile race as well. Bobo Girl for Scott and I in race number 8, a horse that both of us could potentially be leaning on a little bit. Lack of speed in race number 9, 7 furlongs of distance. Other than Scott, you landed on the 4-horse in here, Palm Cottage, who should be in a good position every step of the way.
Yeah, going to get heavily back, so not really breaking major news to you here that this one's the likeliest winner in this race, but ran a winning race, I thought, on September 17th, a day where the inside was very, very, very good here at Churchill Downs. The winner of that race, Strong Silent, was an inside speed horse. Palm Cottage stalked just off of Strong Silent and ran well to the wire, finishing second. 92 Brisnet speed rating. A repeat of that effort would definitely win this race.
And I like Mariah's Princess. She's got good enough speed to stay close. In her career debut at Churchill, she was bet down to 5-2. She had a shoe repair that day. She was reluctant to load the starting gate, come back much more professionally in the Fairgrounds race in career start number 2, defeating a horse that was very good that time of the year in Little Tootsie. Came back and ran second behind a buzzsaw and Joy's Rocket. The race at Oaklawn in the slop didn't go very well, but the horse that ran third that day, or in the L'Atelier, I should say, at Fairgrounds, did come back. Charlie's Penny to win the Silver Bullet Day. Just keeping good company. The workouts look good. Phil Bauer off the layoff does not have great stats, but this one appears to be very well intended in her comeback race.
Should sit a real good trip right off of Palm Cottage. It's pretty tough to win a 7-furlong race if you're not totally fit off the layoff, but like I said, should be involved early.
Race number 10, one-turn mile, $30,000 maiden claimers. Take note, ladies and gentlemen, super high 5. Sign, neon sign, giving you the carryover, $7,292. Super high 5 carryover, $7,292. That's a 2-day carryover. Scott, you landed on the 3-horse here. That is Falcon Heavy, who I've got picked second. I'm intrigued as well.
Yeah, the pace should be honest in here. You've got Doctrinaire, a sprinter stretching out to the one-turn mile. You've got Koufax to the outside, a couple horses on the inside that have some tactical foot. Falcon Heavy has shown no speed so far, but adds the blinkers, which I'm hoping will get this son of Birdstone into the race a little more than he has been. Certainly was not into the race at all at Keeneland on October 9th, but that was a race where Blake B., who we talked about before, and Invisible War were both prominent early, so he wasn't in the right spot. Ian Wilkes, 14% first-time blinkers, so hoping that does the trick. Ian, having a cold little run here, due to heat up soon, probably will happen sooner rather than later.
Fed Money for me here, a horse that's done his best work on the turf. But if you look at his 2 dirt races, he has excuses for both of them. Claustrophobic trip on debut and then hung 4 wide. The race at Fairgrounds on January 24th just got hammered around and then showed speed and then faded. Not going to hold that race against him. Pedigree is versatile. Fed Biz, more of a turf stallion, but versatile enough out of an AP&D mare, and the workouts on the dirt look good enough as well. Should show some tactical speed. Doesn't have much to beat in here. 6-1 on Fed Money. I'll take it.
Just throw in your stuff, your site.
That's it. No, we got James. We got to go back to James, though, because we've got some races to talk about coming up tomorrow. Breeders' Cup races that will have implications on the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, James. First 20-point races, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It is a Future Stars Friday tomorrow at Del Mar.
Absolutely, Joe. And these are, like you said, important prep races for the Derby and Kentucky Oaks next fall or next spring. And 20 points to the winner, 8 to second, 4 to third, 2 to fourth. Let's take a look at the fields for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies and Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And the little bit disappointing only to get 6 in that juvenile we're going to start with the juvenile. This is a really, I thought, compelling race. We have 2 potential stars in there. Jack Christopher, number 1, Cornici, number 10, I believe, but with other contenders as well. Oviatt Class for the DeSormo brothers is in there. We can take a look at the next screen. Cornici is in post 12. He's your second choice in the morning on. Have a command performance, a little bit of memories of good magic. He's a maiden, but he has something going for him. He'll be interesting to see how he fares for Todd Pletcher. And taking a look at the juvenile fillies field, only got 6 runners in there, but a potential star in number 6, Echo Zulu, a filly from the first crop of leading freshman sire Gunrunner, Steve Asmussen. Everybody's expecting a show from her. Her main rival in there is Juju's Map, who won the Alcibiades at Keeneland, and Hidden Connection, who won the Pocahontas at Churchill Downs. So that's an early look at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies and Breeders' Cup Juvenile fields. Both races preps for the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks.
All right, thanks, James. He will be headed up those stairs to the Jocks room to talk to Rafael Bejarano during our starting gate segment. We'll give you our signature plays and tell you about some great promotions as well. For those of you on YouTube, this is going to end the broadcast. Excuse me, for those of you on Twitter, this is going to end the broadcast. For the rest of you watching on TwinSpires or all the simulcast outlets, the starting gate is coming up in just a little bit. But first, we got Travis Stone with the changes and Steve Buttleman with the National Anthem 10 on our Thursday agenda. We'll be right back.